It's January 2026. You've set goals, you've made resolutions, you've written down what you want to achieve this year. Maybe it's starting a business, maybe it's improving your health, maybe it's writing that book, maybe it's transforming your finances, maybe it's deepening your relationships. You're excited, you're motivated, you can see it clearly. This is the year everything changes. But let me tell you what's going to happen if you do what most people do. By mid-January, the excitement will fade. By February, you'll have missed more days than you've kept. By March, you'll be back to your old patterns. And by December, you'll be setting the same goals again, wondering why nothing ever changes. Not because you lack discipline, not because you lack desire, not because you're not capable, but because you're missing one simple practice that takes 3 minutes every morning, a practice that programs your mind, aligns your spirit, and activates divine partnership for your goals. I'm Rabbi Shimon. I'm 83 years old, and I'm about to give you the exact words to speak every morning that will make 2026 completely different from every year before. Before I reveal this, I need you to engage. Like this video if you're serious about 2026 being your breakthrough year, and comment these 3 words, 2026 is mine. When you write that, you're making a public declaration, and subscribe to this channel because what I'm teaching here is ancient wisdom that turns goals from wishes into realities. Turn on notifications. Let me tell you what happens to most people's New Year goals. On January 1st, there's energy, excitement, determination. They write their goals. They make their plans. They're absolutely certain this year will be different. By January 15th, momentum starts fading, life gets busy, old habits creep back. The goals are still written down somewhere, but they're not thinking about them every day. By February, most have abandoned their resolutions entirely. Maybe they feel guilty about it. Maybe they tell themselves they'll start again on Monday. But the goals are essentially forgotten. By March, they're completely back to old patterns. The year looks exactly like last year. And the goals? Buried in a notebook or a file somewhere, never to be looked at again. By December, when people ask them about their New Year resolutions, they laugh it off. Oh, you know how that goes. Nobody actually keeps those. And they set the same goals again for the next year, expecting different results. This is the cycle most people live in, year after year after year. And they wonder why their life never actually changes. But here's what almost nobody understands. The problem isn't the goals. The goals are usually good, clear, achievable. The problem is the lack of daily reinforcement. You set the goal once, you write it down once, you get excited once. But then you never think about it again until months later when you realize you've made no progress. Goals that are written once but not spoken daily remain wishes. They stay in your head as nice ideas. But they never become reality because you never program them into your daily consciousness. The Torah teaches something profound about this. It says, regarding the commandments, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. When you rise up. First thing in the morning, before the day takes over. Before circumstances dictate your thinking, before you get caught up in reaction mode, you speak, not just think. Speak, out loud. Words have power. When words move from thought into speech, they enter the physical realm. They create vibration. They program your subconscious. They set the trajectory of your day. This is why morning declarations are so powerful. Your first thoughts and words of the day set the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up and immediately check your phone, immediately react to emails, immediately respond to other people's agendas, You've lost control of your day before it even begins. But if you wake up and immediately speak declarations over your life, over your goals, over your year, you take control. You set the direction. You program your mind. You align your spirit. You activate divine partnership. This isn't just positive thinking. This isn't just motivation. This is ancient wisdom about how consciousness works, how reality responds to declaration, how divine assistance activates when you align with purpose. So, let me give you the complete morning declaration now. The exact words to speak every single morning, not just in January. Every morning for the entire year. 3 minutes that will transform 2026. I'm going to break this down section by section so you understand why each part matters. Because this isn't just a script to read mechanically. This is a carefully structured declaration that addresses every element necessary for goal achievement. The first part is gratitude for the new year. Thank you for this new year, 2026, a year of breakthrough and manifestation. Thank you for giving me 365 days to become who I'm meant to be, to build what I'm called to build, to achieve what you've placed in my heart. Why start with gratitude? Because gratitude positions you to receive. When you approach your goals from entitlement, from resentment about what you don't have, from comparison with others, you block reception. But when you approach from gratitude, acknowledging the year itself as a gift, you open yourself. 365 days. That's what you've been given for 2026. Not guaranteed, not deserved, given. And when you recognize it as a gift, you treat each day differently. You don't waste them, you steward them. This opening also acknowledges that your goals aren't random. They're not just things you thought would be nice. They're things placed in your heart, by God, for a purpose. When you see your goals as divine assignments rather than personal preferences, everything changes. The second part is declaration of identity. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am consistent. I am someone who finishes what they start. I am aligned with my purpose. I am walking in divine favor. I am exactly who I need to be to achieve what's before me. This is crucial. Most people focus on what they want to do or what they want to have, but achievement doesn't start with doing or having. It starts with being. With identity, you don't achieve goals that are incongruent with your identity. If you see yourself as someone who starts things but doesn't finish them, you won't finish. If you see yourself as undisciplined, discipline will feel unnatural. If you see yourself as unlucky or unfavored, you'll sabotage opportunities. But when you speak your identity, when you declare who you are, you begin to become it. I am statements are the most powerful form of declaration because they establish identity. And identity drives behavior, and behavior creates results. Notice the tense, not I will become disciplined, not I'm trying to be consistent. I am. Present tense, already true. You're not becoming these things. You're declaring that you already are these things, and your mind works to make your declarations true. The third part is specific goal declaration. This year, I will specific goal. This is not a wish. This is my reality. This is not someday. This is 2026. I see it clearly. I move toward it daily. I receive the wisdom, resources, and connections to manifest it. Here you insert your actual specific goal. Not vague, not general. Specific. This year, I will launch my business and serve my first 20 clients. This year, I will lose 40 pounds and maintain that weight. This year, I will write and complete the manuscript for my book. This year, I will save $15,000 and pay off my credit card debt. Be specific, because vague goals produce vague results. Your mind needs a clear target. And notice how you speak it. This is not a wish. This is my reality. You're not hoping, you're not wishing, you're declaring reality. This is not someday. This is 2026. Not in the future. This year. This specific year. I see it clearly. Vision is essential. If you can't see it in your mind, you can't build it in reality. I move toward it daily, not occasionally, not when motivated, daily. Every single day, one step. I receive the wisdom, resources, and connections to manifest it. You're acknowledging you don't do this alone. You need wisdom you don't currently have, resources you don't currently possess, connections you haven't currently made, and you're declaring that you receive them. The fourth part is divine partnership acknowledgement. I do not do this alone. God directs my steps, divine wisdom guides my decisions. Heaven opens doors I cannot open. What I build, God blesses. What I start, God completes. This is where most motivational teaching fails. It puts everything on you, your willpower, your effort, your hustle, and that creates enormous pressure and inevitable burnout. But when you acknowledge divine partnership, when you recognize that you're not doing this through human effort alone, everything shifts. The pressure lifts. Not because you're absolved of responsibility, but because you're sharing the load with God. God directs my steps. You're not figuring this out alone. Divine wisdom guides my decisions. You're not relying solely on your limited knowledge. Heaven opens doors I cannot open. Some opportunities require divine intervention. You can work hard, but only God can open certain doors. What I build, God blesses. Your work matters, your effort matters, but blessing comes from God. What I start, God completes. You initiate, you move, you act, but God completes what you cannot complete through human effort alone. This acknowledgement is essential because it keeps you from either extreme, either thinking you do everything yourself, which leads to pride and burnout, or thinking God does everything without you, which leads to passivity and lack of action. This is partnership. You do your part. God does his part. The fifth part is daily commitment. Today, I take one step forward. Today, I do what's required. Today, I choose progress over comfort. Today, I honor my future self by acting with integrity now. This brings everything from the yearly scale down to the daily scale, because you don't achieve yearly goals through yearly effort. You achieve them through daily effort. Every single day, small steps, consistent action. Today, I take one step forward, not 10 steps, not giant leaps, one step. That's all that's required today, but that one step is non-negotiable. Today, I do what's required, not what's comfortable, not what's easy, what's required. There are things that must be done whether you feel like it or not. Today, I choose progress over comfort. This is the daily choice. Comfort wants you to stay where you are. Progress requires you to stretch. You choose progress. Today, I honor my future self by acting with integrity now. Your future self is determined by your present self. What you do today creates who you become tomorrow. When you act with integrity today, you honor the person you're becoming. Now let me show you why this specific structure works, why these 5 elements in this order create transformation. It starts with gratitude because gratitude opens you. You can't receive while you're resentful or entitled. Thankfulness for the year positions you correctly. It establishes identity because identity precedes achievement. You must become the person who achieves the goal before you can achieve the goal. Speaking identity daily rewires your self-concept. It makes goals specific and present because vague future goals don't activate your mind. But specific present tense goals create cognitive alignment. Your brain works to make your declarations true. It invites divine partnership because you genuinely need help beyond yourself. Acknowledging God's role removes crushing pressure and adds supernatural assistance. It creates daily action because yearly goals need daily execution. This declaration connects the big vision to today's immediate action. Each morning, you recommit to today's progress. This is transformation principle. Most people set goals once on January 1st and then forget about them. But this practice keeps your goals front of mind every single day. What you declare every morning becomes your operating system. Your subconscious works 24 hours a day on what you consistently focus on. Daily declaration equals daily alignment equals yearly achievement. This is the formula. Let me tell you about a woman I know. At the beginning of last year, she set a goal to start a coaching business. She'd been thinking about it for years, had the skills, had the knowledge, but never actually did it. She wrote the goal down on January 1st, felt excited about it, and then nothing. By March, she hadn't taken a single concrete action. The goal was just sitting there on paper, mocking her. Then she learned this practice, started speaking the declaration every morning. This year, I launch my coaching business. This is not someday, this is this year. I am a business owner. I serve clients. I provide value. Within 2 weeks of speaking this daily, she registered her business. Within a month, she had her first client. Within 3 months, she was fully booked. Within 6 months, she'd replaced her salary and quit her job. Same goal, same person, same year, but completely different result. What changed? Daily declaration. She programmed her mind every single morning, and her mind went to work creating what she declared. So here's what I want you to do. Don't just listen to this and think it's a nice idea. Actually implement it. Starting tomorrow morning, January 2026, speak this declaration every single day. Write it out in your own words if you need to. Personalize it for your specific goals, but include all 5 elements: gratitude, identity, specific goals, divine partnership, daily commitment. Speak it out loud, 3 minutes, first thing in the morning, before you check your phone, before you do anything else. Set the trajectory of your day through declaration, and watch what happens. Watch how your thinking changes. Watch how opportunities appear. Watch how you start taking action you've been avoiding. Watch how your goals begin manifesting. Your soul is the blueprint. Your life is the construction. And 2026 is your year to build. Shalom, my friend. Tomorrow morning, speak the declaration. And begin the year that changes everything. You've spoken the declaration. Your mind is aligned. Your spirit is engaged. Your goals are clear. You've declared your identity. You've acknowledged divine partnership. But now comes the crucial part. The part that separates people who speak beautiful words from people who achieve actual results. Because speaking the declaration is necessary, but it's not sufficient. Words without action remain wishes. I'm Rabbi Shimon, and what I'm about to show you are the 3 actions you must take every single day after speaking the morning declaration. Miss these, and your goals stay dreams. Practice these, and 2026 becomes your breakthrough year. Before I reveal these, comment these 3 words: I act daily. And subscribe, because these 3 actions turn declarations into achievements. Hit that like button. After you speak the morning declaration, there are 3 specific things you must do. 3 actions that activate what the words declare. Every single day, not when you feel motivated, every single day. The first action, write 1 next step. Here's what happens with most goals. They're big, overwhelming. Your mind doesn't know where to start, so it doesn't start at all. You want to start a business, but that involves registering, accounting, website, clients, and 100 other things. Where do you begin? You want to write a book, but that's 80,000 words over months. It feels impossible. You want to transform your health, but that requires diet, exercise, sleep, stress management. It's too much. This overwhelm kills most goals. The gap between where you are and where you want to be feels too large to cross. So you freeze. But here's the secret. Every big goal is just a series of small steps, and you don't need to know all the steps. You only need to know the next step. After speaking your declaration, take 60 seconds. Write, "Today's next step toward my goal is," and complete that sentence with one specific, small, achievable action. If your goal is starting a business, research business structure options for 30 minutes. If your goal is writing a book, write for 20 minutes on Chapter 1. If your goal is improving health, walk for 15 minutes after breakfast. Not the entire plan, just the immediate next action. This eliminates paralysis. Your brain knows exactly what to do, no ambiguity, just clarity. And when you complete that next step, you gain momentum. Momentum creates more momentum. Research shows people who write daily next steps are 42% more likely to achieve goals, because clarity eliminates decision fatigue, because small daily steps compound into massive yearly results. The second action: do the hardest thing first. Every goal has difficult, uncomfortable components, things you naturally want to avoid. Most people put them off. They do easy stuff first. They tell themselves they'll get to the hard thing later. But later never comes, and the goal stays stuck because the hard parts never get done. What you resist persists. What you delay accumulates. And the hardest thing is usually the most important thing. After writing your next step, identify the hardest, most uncomfortable task related to your goal today, and do it first. Before email, before social media, before anything else, attack it when your willpower is strongest. Even if just 15 or 30 minutes, give it your first and best energy. Why? Because morning is when willpower is strongest. Completing hard tasks creates momentum. When you do the hardest thing first, everything else feels easier by comparison. If your goal is starting a business, the hard thing is making the first sales call, risking rejection. If your goal is writing a book, the hard thing is writing when you don't feel inspired. If your goal is health, the hard thing is exercising when you're tired. Every high achiever follows this pattern. They attack the hardest part early when they're strongest. This creates unstoppable momentum. The third action: review your progress before bed. What gets measured gets improved. Daily review creates accountability, learning, adjustment, and sustained motivation. Every evening before sleep, take 3 minutes. Ask 3 questions. Write brief answers. Question 1. What did I do today toward my goal? Answer honestly. This creates accountability. You know whether you moved forward or stood still. Question 2. What worked? What didn't? This is the learning question. When you identify what works and what doesn't, you can adjust. Without this reflection, you repeat the same mistakes for months. Question 3. What's tomorrow's next step? This prepares you for the next morning. When you wake up and speak your declaration, you already know your next step. This 3-minute evening practice creates a feedback loop. You see patterns. You prevent wasted months. You celebrate small wins. You prepare your mind for tomorrow. When you combine all 3 actions with the morning declaration, you create compound momentum. Day 1, small progress. 1 next step. 1 hard thing. 1 review. Day 30, 30 steps. Forward, 30 hard things completed. Pattern established. Momentum building. Day 90. Significant advancement. You're not the same person. Your goal is dramatically closer. Day 365. You've achieved what most only dream about through daily consistency. Here's your complete system for 2026. Every morning, speak the 5-part declaration, 3 minutes. Write today's next step, 1 minute. Do the hardest thing first, 15-30 minutes. Every evening, review with 3 questions, 3 minutes. Total daily time, 20 to 30 minutes maximum. Annual return. Achieved goals that most people abandon by February. For the first 90 days of 2026, commit to this without exception. Every single day. Week 1-2, building the habit. Feels awkward. Week 3-4, starts feeling natural. Week 5-8, real progress visible. Week 9-12, momentum undeniable. By April 1st, you'll have 90 days of consistent action. Your goal will be dramatically advanced. You'll have built an identity as someone who achieves. It's January 2026, 365 days ahead. Most people will set goals today and forget them by February. Good intentions, but no daily system. But you're different, because now you have the complete system. Every morning, declare. Write next step. Do hardest thing first. Every evening, review progress. Note what works. Prepare for tomorrow. Do this for 90 days, then 180, then 365. And on January 1st, 2027, you'll look back amazed. Not through luck, through daily declaration and daily action. Through speaking your goals into reality and building them into reality. 2026 can be your breakthrough year, but only if you make it so. One declaration at a time, one next step at a time, one hard thing at a time, one day at a time. Your soul is the blueprint, your life is the construction, and 2026 is your year to build. Shalom, my friend. Tomorrow morning, speak the declaration. Write your next step. Do the hardest thing first. Review before sleep, and begin building the year that changes everything.